to the Fit Dads podcast. As you can probably see if you're watching on YouTube, today we're joined by another guest. We have Pete Swatkins, who's the founder of the Fitness Truck. Stemming from the idea that you deserve better, the Fitness Truck is a mobile fitness provider specialising in corporate and fitness wellbeing. So Pete's going to talk to us today about how he started in business, what he's passionate about, who he's trying to help, and how he continues to move the industry forward in what I'm going to say is quite a novel way as well. You don't see this very often, do you? So, Pete, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you on, mate. We love people in the industry, getting them on and picking their brains, and you're obviously another business owner, and to be honest, it's just great to have someone down who is on our level as well, like gets it, understands it. And I guess our first question really is, how did the Fitness Truck start? How did you get into the position where you're like, right, I'm not going to get people to come to me, I'm going to deliver that service to them?
I think it all started back in 2016 when I had a bit of a personal kind of life crisis, as it were. That I was in a really stable job. I was in a reasonably stable relationship. We were engaged to be married, so probably more reasonable than stable. It was pretty stable, and we had our first house. So. And then all three of those things kind of came to an end in 2016. So I was at a kind of a point in my life where I wasn't really sure what direction to go in. I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Hate the word, can't stand it, but it's true. I always wanted to. I used to watch Dragon's Den, and I thought, what can I do that's going to be a little bit different?
When you say entrepreneur, was it like you knew you wanted to work for yourself and not a boss?
What had an idea that was going to make me a millionaire, like everybody does. We all want to make money, don't we?
Yeah.
And coming from a professional sporting background, I'd always had a barrier to entry to becoming a PT on the gym floor. I never wanted to do it. I didn't want to run the rat race, the fight for clients. I wasn't that passionate about fitness. It was just part of my job to stay fit. I was always one of the fittest in the team, kind of from a speed perspective, not necessarily from a strength perspective, but never really had this desire to be a PT until everything changed in 2016 when I had a couple of really interesting experiences with my managers. I had a guy that I used to work for who he was a great guy, but his leadership I found quite challenging at times, and he fired me. He's actually now a really good friend of mine who's gone through he's going through a terminal illness at the moment, which is harrowing and gutting for him, but we've actually become really close. And then another guy that I worked for was Joe Root's dad, the Sheffield boy.
Okay,
Matt Root, ex-rugby player up at Tigers and set up a medical device company. So I went and worked for him for a year, and he was phenomenal. Just the way that he treated me, the respect, the kind of the leadership and the guidance. And I just, in 2016, decided that I was never going to work for anybody ever again and wanted to do my own thing. So I wanted to become a PT with a difference, in essence, really.
Well, love that line. PT with a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really good.
It's funny because you're probably the only guy I know that travels and does this kind of stuff. And it wasn't long ago I got a call from a potential client saying, I've got a home gym. I'm happy to train. And I thought he was kind of saying, we'll do the online stuff. And at the end of it, I kind of said how it works, but what's set up with online was, you don't come to the house. I said, no, I'm not a travelling PT. I do some one-to-one sessions, but it's here at my studio. He goes, I really want someone to come. And then you immediately popped into my mind, because you're the only person I know who travels around. Yeah. And then I'm not sure what happened with that client, but I thought I'll drop Pete a message. I'll drop him your number, and you messaged me afterwards saying thank you for that. So that's kind of that was our first interaction, I guess, wasn't it?
So.
And after that, obviously, you coached the wife of one of my clients, long-term clients, Mark. And everyone I know has always had great things to say, really, really good things. Mark sings your praises, mentioned how much of a top guy you were. And I think with him coming from more of a business background as well, he could really see that side in your business. He saw that potential, and he saw just, how opportunistic you were as well. So, like I said, everyone I've spoken to has always had really good things to say about you, for sure.
Has truck, will travel.
Yeah. And I think we like to do this with guests. We like to sort of get a bit of background. So I obviously reached out to someone, one of your, would you say colleague, would you say team members, Leanne?
Yeah, both. Yeah, friend.
Both friend. There we go.
Absolutely.
Just to try and get a bit of dirt on you, really, Pete. Just to see. Is there anything we can throw him under the proverbial bus? But
the journalist
and she said the same.
As long as nothing affects my marriage, it's fine.
But no, she said, she's like, look, he's absolutely great. It's a really good message, and yeah, we're looking forward to diving into that stuff with you today.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll kick us off with some questions, Ryan.
Yes, do you know what? I haven't actually got the questions loaded up. That's fine. Sorry, you have to look some out.
That is all good. Which we briefly spoke about this before, Pete, but where did you grow up and where did that passion for fitness come from?
So I'm the son of an officer in the RAF. So we travelled quite a bit as a family. Probably both before your time, but we were in Northern Ireland in 87, 88, which, if you're going back to those days of kind of the IRA prime, we were an RAF officer from the UK in Northern Ireland in 87, 88. So that was quite a challenge for mum and dad, taking 2 kids under 5 with them to Northern Ireland. It was quite a bold move.
Yeah.
And then Dad just got posted around the UK. We went over to Manchester for 6 months whilst Dad went down to the Falkland Islands. Again, kind of quite relatively post Argentina Falklands War. The RAF was sending officers down there to support, and then we actually went out to Germany and Belgium as well, back to London and then to Gloucester, all before I was 6.
Wow.
So yeah, you can imagine.
Been around.
Yeah, we were well travelled.
Do you think that was a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it was great for our family unity. We're really, really close as a family. Everybody always has the family infrastructure around them, whereas we didn't. We just had the 4 of us, which made us really strong. And I think that still bodes well now. My sister's 40 this week, and we were over in Manchester having dinner all together on Saturday night, which was lovely. I think it just kept us really grounded, really humble, and really close as a unit. And that now stems into my family life as a dad, with 2 young girls and a wife. Family first and foremost, before business and before fitness is family. So we just grew up in Gloucester then from kind of 6 to 21. So we were quite settled through school and university, and that's kind of like where we were settled in.
Brilliant.
Very nice.
I think that you're absolutely right for saying for us, family first for everything else. And I was on this chat with the missus yesterday. Actually, I think obviously you guys are really close as a family, and I think it's difficult sometimes when you aren't like that and you haven't got a really close family unit. And my family was close as a kid, but what I found was as I got my own family, you have another really tight knit community now. And I think at those young ages, like you said, how old are your kids?
6 and 2.
So, you're at the age now where they're starting to become part of like the pack. They're not just that little baby. They're having their own roles, and I'm sure you're giving the 6-year-old little jobs to do and chores and things like that. And they start to become like your own little team. And I bet that's really nice to kind of see them flourish.
Yeah, it is, apart from when you look in the mirror and my little one, my eldest is me with pigtails, which is a scary thought, to be honest.
She looks like
yeah. Spitting image. Doppelganger, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's funny, my little girl, everyone says that, she looks like me, but I'm not sure how much I want her to look like me. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, a little more like Amy a little bit.
I regularly apologise to my wife. I'm like, I'm sorry that you birthed my clone.
It's strange, isn't it? But we spoke about this in the podcast before, like they look like us through genetic reasons, like, because back in the day, if the child didn't look like the kind of dad, they would be discarded.
That's questions.
So it's always a fascinating part of evolution that our kids have genetically changed to look like the dad, so they're not discarded.
It's amazing.
9 months of hard work for it to come up looking like those.
Yeah, and the women hate it, don't they? Women hate it.
We get an easy ride, don't we?
For sure.
Excuse
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
It's going to be loads
I missed that for a second. There's
going to be loads of them.
He's quicker than us.
They're not going to get tiring, these puns, are they, Pete?
Absolutely
No.
Next question.
Next question, Pete. We have. Yeah, I think I just wanted to explore that love for fitness that you had. Like, did you have any heroes growing up? I know you said you were a former pro athlete as well.
Yeah, so growing up, I was a footballer. My dad from Manchester. We were United fans, Manchester United, not Sheffield United, because I'm not from Sheffield, unfortunately. That love of football, as the fire's gone, it's just a sport that I watch now.
I'm glad you're not supporting United anymore, mate, put it that way.
So am I at the moment, to be honest. So we were kind of a football family. Dad was a footballer in the RAF, and then when you grow up in Gloucester, you haven't got a choice but to play rugby. Gloucester Rugby it's the centre of the city. King's Home, where Gloucester play. The players that play for Gloucester are everything. They are the footballers of Sheffield United in Gloucester. Like, everybody knows who they are. Yeah. So all of the schools play it. So my hand was forced to play rugby, and just kind of fell in love with it from there. Took me a while, to be honest. Even as a sporty kid, I didn't really get it. And then as school progressed, I kind of got a bit better, got a bit quicker, and then kind of got picked for county, then got picked for South West, and then year young played England schoolboys for 2 years, and then that kind of rugby then just kind of took over my life, really, and that everything that brings with it, the discipline of staying fit, looking after your body, recovery, could have always been better for me, from a flexibility and rehab perspective. But yeah, just sport became a massive part of my day-to-day life, especially when I was capped England age grade, and I thought actually I could make a career out of this. And I thought that was the future.
Was that your dream as a kid? You wanted to grow up and grow up and
in my early
take it all the way?
In my early teens, no. I didn't know what I wanted. I think I wanted. My mum and dad will laugh at this. I think I wanted a Renault Espace, a Labrador, and 3 kids.
Nice.
That was my dream.
You actually said a Renault Espace.
Yeah.
That was. Oh my god.
Very specific. That's that's a manifestation.
People know that I'm going to be a bit odd.
And how old were you at that point?
11, 12.
At 11 years old, you wanted a Renault Espace.
With a dog and kids. Yeah, and I think that, but then looking back in hindsight, that shows that from an early age I've always wanted to have a family.
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
vision, no matter what career you wanted, I've always wanted to be a dad.
Brilliant,
family.
Yeah.
When things turned at 29, 30, when I was on my own, I was very much in the market then to find my wife, because I wanted to be a dad and I wanted to be a husband.
Again, manifesting, isn't it? You've known that as a kid, and it's something you've been working towards. And when the right girl comes along, you kind of jump at it, don't you?
Literally, we knew straight away. I met my wife, and within 8 months we were moving in and pregnant.
Wow,
and now we're married with 2 kids. It's amazing. So but we just knew the time was right.
Yeah,
it's like decisiveness, isn't it, as well? Like if you see traits in someone and you go, yeah, I can see that, and especially at that age as well, you must think, I'm not messing around here. Like this is going to be for life if I get into something.
Yeah, and we both just knew. We'd both been in long-term relationships before. We both knew that we wanted to be parents. We wanted to be married at some point in the future, and we it came along. It wasn't love at first sight for my wife. She'll admit that. If she watches this, I had to work hard. She made me graft.
I love that though. She
made me graft.
Listening to a story about Stevie G, and he was the same thing, and he was pesting his wife and pesting. She was like, no, don't fancy you, don't like you. I'm sure when he started earning a little bit of money, it had something to do with it.
Making appearance in Liverpool.
But I love the stories when the lads have had to really graft for the girl. It makes it seem it's more rewarding, isn't it? It's I don't want to sound very misogynistic here, but I think it's it's a challenge for the guy, and I think I like it when the girl just doesn't give out straight away. I think that's when she's a special girl as well. Do you know what I mean?
Me and my wife are quite traditional in our views as well. We're both Christians.
Okay.
So looking at the roles of the husband and a wife in a relationship, we try to conform to. We do, we don't necessarily are stereotypical husband and wife, but for me to kind of pursue the attractiveness to my wife, she thought I was too nice.
Really?
She had a history of liking
bad boys,
potentially. So when I came on the scene, I tried. I really liked her, really fancied her, and it took a while to convince her that I was, the nice guys always win.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it did.
It's a phrase that haunts me. That too nice. Yeah. It really does. Like on a personal level, I had that probably from a work perspective as well. People saying, get into management, get into a leadership position. You're too nice. You don't know how to switch it. And you just learn those traits, but you'd learn to do it probably how you did, Pete, like to do it your own way and to do it in a way that you're quite proud of. So I can relate to that fully.
It comes with age and experience as well. I had a management role in a job managing 10,000 children, 500 staff for 10 weeks in the summer, and managing that amount of people was tough. And I was only 28.
What was that job?
So I worked for King's Camps in Sheffield, so doing school holiday camps in the school holidays.
Oh, wow.
So
and that was all. So it was just 10 weeks a year.
So a Sheffield-based business that would, or charity, a Christian charity that set up sports camps in schools around the country in holidays, so that you get, in essence, glorified childcare through sport. So we would go and recruit teachers, university students, and we would put them onto camp, and then parents pay for their kids to go and do sport all day.
So they would get an extra bit of money.
So they would earn a bit of holiday. So I did it when I was a teacher and doing kind of PE, HLTA stuff when I left professional rugby. In my holidays, my ex at the time was like, "What are you doing in your holidays?" I was like, "Nothing." I'm just going to chill out. She's like, "No, go and get another job." I was like, "No, I'm on holiday." She's like, "No, go and get another job." So I ended up managing a couple of camps in Hull and Sheffield.
Nice. Are the schools okay with that? Because this is the line that my missus taught me. My missus told me that you're not allowed to have other jobs alongside it unless you've told obviously the headmaster and things like that.
Depends if it's alongside it.
You're about to stop my missus in now, because when I say to her in them 6-week holidays, get on your bike.
This is in the holidays, so it was a separate contract. It didn't kind of restrict your job as a teacher.
And I guess you were doing the same thing. It wasn't like
I was a HLTA PE teacher, and I would go and run when I was pro rata as a HLTA, so my salary wasn't a full-time salary. So I'd go and supplement that salary with a summer holiday on camp and go and earn an extra 600-700 quid.
Brilliant.
So I did that for a couple of summers and was rewarded with that with national awards from the company, and then got headhunted to go back and be their operations manager. So I went into head office and then would be head of people, programs and equipment.
And that was just for the 10 weeks, or was that all year round?
So we would have Easter camps, half-term camps, summer camps and October camps.
Were you doing that alongside your other job, or was that?
No, I went full-time as
teaching?
King's Camps operations manager, yes. And we had camps up in the north of Aberdeen down to Plymouth. So we would have to recruit 500 staff to cover camps all over the UK.
Brilliant.
And 10,000 staff. And at 28, 29, that leadership, it was too nice. I was a people person. I could be on camp and control a group of 100 people, but I couldn't control a spreadsheet or staff that were within my immediate control because I wasn't experienced. But it's taught me so much.
I bet, yeah.
So much.
I feel like we've definitely crossed paths then, because we used to do quite a bit of work with the company I used to work for when I was at the EIS in Sheffield.
Nice.
So yeah, no doubt we've crossed paths in that.
Other holiday camps are available.
Yes, this is it.
Again, just coming back to how small of a world Sheffield is as well. Like, you know, it's amazing how people don't meet, or you're only, I mean, they took 6 degrees of separation. You're probably half a degree of separation in Sheffield, aren't you, from someone that you know?
Yeah.
Which is probably a nice transition into like how important is that, not so much corporate contacts, but like the networking side of things. Is that something you really deeply value now in the way that you progress in the business?
Yeah, I think it taught me a lot with regards to kind of stakeholder relationships. So we obviously, as the manager on camp, we used to have to deal with the janitor, the head teacher, the staff, some suppliers. And yeah, I think upon reflection now, being a business owner, I've been able to look back and utilise all of those challenges in my life, you know, being fired, you know, splitting up from a long-term relationship, losing a house, having a boss that I found quite challenging, although friendly. I'm picketing and pickpocketing them to develop me as a person and as a leader.
Yeah.
And it's been a really valuable experience that, you know, people always call me Positive Pete. You know, even if you knock me down, I'll always get back up. My friends who we've been on holiday with before have said I'm the type of guy that opens the curtains in the morning and sings out the window.
We've just got the title for the podcast there. Yeah. Positive Pete from the fitness truck.
There you go.
But it's just, I hate fun sponges and negative sponges that just take it out of you. Like, what's the point? You know, even if you provide me with a challenge, I'll meet it head on and crack on.
In business, that's so important though, isn't it? Because you're going to have moments where everything's against you. Those weeks where just everything goes wrong and you're like, nothing else can literally get me down this week. And if you have got that positive mindset, then it's so much better to get you through those times. And I need some of that. Honestly, I do. I'm probably not as positive. I'm a bit more pessimistic, I think, in my view. And it's funny coming back to the other conversation about kind of the too nice. I think I was always the opposite. I was always
brutal.
I was the bad boy. So you know, I've got the opposite kind of end of the stick there. But yeah, I think look, I really, really kind of envy that mindset of being like super positive all the time. I have my positive moments, but I think I would love to take some of that sometimes and bottle up and go out. When I'm feeling pessimistic, how do you bring that out? What would you say is it something you've always had, that positive outlook, or is it something you actively work on? Do you know it? Can you feel yourself getting like negative sometimes and go, right, I need to nip this in the bud? How does that work, or does it just come natural?
It comes naturally, I think.
Does it?
I don't have to work on it. I don't get overly negative. Someone cuts me up in the road, just wave them through and say thank you.
Oh,
nice.
You need to write a book, Pete.
You know,
We've been talking about road rage previously.
I've had boys crash my trucks. I've had my insurance premium go up by $5,000 when they've left the business.
Wow.
I had someone the other week say, "What's it like to be financially free and running your own business?" I went, "Are you kidding me? Are you joking?" You know, every month, some months there's still, as you know, running businesses, there can always be a challenge.
Of course.
I just don't see the point in being negative. Life's too short. I'm here to have a good time. I'm here for a short period of time in the grand scheme of things. And what's the point in being negative? If someone pisses me off, then you know, more for them. It's more fool on them than it is on me. And I'm not going to let them influence the way that I behave. All the negatives in my business life I've been able to learn from. It's a massive learning opportunity. Whilst it's been stressful and puts pressure on me as a business owner and as a dad to bring the money in, I see it as an opportunity to reflect and learn and not let it happen again.
That's awesome. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Really good.
Either live or you learn, Pete.
Yeah.
That's what we've discovered.
Well, I actually think since having my little girl, I've become more positive though, because I understand that when I'm negative, it's like a beacon. My energy and my mindset is a beacon to everyone around me, whether that's clients, whether that's family members, and the last thing I want is my little girl in an even time seeing me in this negative, pessimistic mindset. So I do think, you know, when I'm around her, she's an instant pick me up. As soon as she walks in the room and you see her smile, she goes, "Daddy," and she goes running over. Mate, nothing picks you up more than that. So you realise that I don't want to be like this all the time. I've got to be more positive for her as well. Yeah,
definitely.
100%.
How do you find that balance? I know you said you got 2 girls. Balancing that with work, how's that?
That's a question for my wife, I think. Yeah, it's a challenge. My phone is the biggest distraction in my life, as it is for most of us. I hate it. Doom scrolling gets me every day.
Do you get told off for that a lot?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. And I know I'm doing it, and I can't help it. I'm in that rut of... But for me, as a business owner, it kind of... And obviously looking for next opportunities, as we were talking earlier, a lot of my clients and opportunities are on LinkedIn, so I don't like to miss opportunities. So, you know, with regards to interactions, commenting, likes, shares, it works slightly different to Instagram, whereby people then start to see when you've liked and shared and commented, it comes up on their feed. So from an exposure perspective, I don't like to miss an opportunity, because that's where I do my business development stuff.
Right.
And it's all encompassing at home. I need to find out a better balance, I think. You know, when I'm sat at home and my girl's just trying to talk to me and I'm sat scrolling, it kills me.
Yeah, for sure. You've got to be. I mean, it's so hard, isn't it, nowadays, to switch off from work when you're a business owner, because your phone is your gateway to everything, to connections, to marketing, to clients, and it's very, very hard to put that down to the side and leave it there for hours. Like if I've not been on my phone for an hour, I get a bit twitchy, and that's something's happening. Someone needs my help, and getting better at weekends, but I'm not sure what you're like. Do you find weekends are still as bad as the week, or is it?
Pretty much.
Is it?
Yeah. I try not to be. I do try to leave it on the windowsill or somewhere else in the house. But again, I'll find myself just having a quick scroll. And I actually put a post up the other week of running home from church with my little one. She was 6. She had a new tracker on her watch for her birthday. She said, "Daddy, can we get some steps in? Can I run home?" So I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Let's run." Yeah. So I filmed.
Oh, I saw that. Were you running by a canal?
Yeah. So I was running with Olive down the canal. She didn't run all the way. She walked around, and she, "I got a stitch, Daddy." And then she's like, "How fast can you run, Daddy?" I was like, "Really quick."
Watch this.
But I posted that on a Sunday lunchtime, thinking, let's see what we get. And I've had 90 likes and shares, 5,000 impressions on it on a Sunday afternoon.
Amazing.
So it shows that kind of LinkedIn is alive on a Sunday. Wow. But then
That's
it's
fascinating. So even LinkedIn as a business platform really is still happening at weekend.
Where do people sit and scroll? When do people sit and scroll? Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Is that a bit disappointing for you as well? So you know that even though it's a business platform, that people are still on there, maybe at a weekend when traditionally they should be switching off, or is that a bit of a testament to the entrepreneurial mindset?
Depends if I'm trying to make a sale or not, doesn't it?
Good point.
Yeah, I think you just got to take advantage of the way society is going at the moment. When are your live times on social media? Look at those trends. Look at when people are going to be flicking most. When are you posting? And for me, obviously, LinkedIn, whilst it's not business hours, people are still scrolling. And a lot of people will go on to now LinkedIn over Instagram, certainly the people that I'm attracting, and they will see those posts. So,
I think what kind of underpins all this is how important it is to have a missus that's on side as well with stuff like this, because as a business owner, they can be a real barrier to you pushing forwards, or they can be a real supportive, shoulder essentially. And I think it's hard, because when I met my missus, I wasn't particularly long into business. I'm not sure about you. Had you started your business by the time you met your missus?
So I lost my job just as I started dating her.
Did you? Okay.
So we were kind of living that life, no kids, going out. I was, flashing the Wonga on a weekend, taking her out, paying for nights out, and then it was I've lost. Like, she started dating this girl that I really, really fancied, really liked, and then to have to tell her that I lost my job was quite a challenge, because I was like, I bet she's going to be going out with her.
Again, just another reason why I think it's amazing that she stuck with you through those times as well, for sure.
Yeah, don't forget that, Rose.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make sure that's in the end.
Yeah.
But I think that yeah, having them on side is so important when it comes to the weekends, and them not just getting really annoyed, naggy, and pissed off all the time. And they'll let you know when you're pushing it too far, for sure.
Yeah.
They're only human; they want your attention as well. But I think for us to be at our best, we have to sometimes just cut into a little bit of weekend time and to push the business forward. It's hard, isn't it?
Best thing my wife can say to me is, look, go and work hard, go and smash it, come on when you're done. And believe it or not, I do actually work harder when that happens. I don't procrastinate as much because I think, here we go. Like, she's on side.
I've got a lease to go and do it.
Yeah. And it seems
but
to be
your
nice.
missus, has she got her own business?
Yeah, she's self-employed.
Yeah,
self-employed. So she gets the struggle.
She gets
yeah.
My missus are chalk and cheese. Like she's a teacher. She gets a wage. It's all set, and she's really, really happy with that. She's spoke about maybe starting something before, but she wouldn't. She hasn't got the same mindset. I know she hasn't when it comes to like really pushing those things.
Public sector versus private sector. I've been in both, and it's completely they're worlds apart. Like my wife is a teacher as well.
Yeah.
Super supportive of what I'm doing. I'll be on online Zoom. So even though we're the gym that comes to you, we'll still do. And when we do our online PT, I'm actually watching them PT. So I will coach them on Google Meet.
Oh,
They'll
brilliant.
do the session in front of me. Two of them dial in on a Wednesday and a Friday morning.
Nice.
And that's at 6:15 every Wednesday, Friday. So she'll come down with the girls, make prep breakfast, cup of tea, and I'm still going. So she allows me to do that even at 6 o'clock in the morning. So
Nice.
she's super competitive, complimentary and supportive of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It has its challenges when I'm distracted, but the majority of the time my wife is phenomenally supportive and an amazing mum to our kids as well.
Yeah. It just makes everything run smoother, doesn't it?
100%.
And again, when your time's limited in the mornings, can they take over? Can they support? And I actually think having a teacher as a missus is a really kind of good thing as well, because and when we had our little girl, I've said to you before, I had no kind of understanding of kids or what I was doing. It was a real issue, it really was, because I was such a novice, whereas she just took the reins, knew what to do, nappy changing, babies. It was her forte. So
wait till you get to phonics.
She's taught that at school, and I'm sure she'll again take the reins there. But I'm up for learning some of that stuff and taking the lead where I can. But
I do think it is good to have that understanding and that balance, though, because we are all driving businesses forward separately, but knowing when to stop. So making sacrifices as well. So on a Thursday, if I open up a corporate opportunity on a Thursday afternoon, I have space for another one after my current Thursday afternoon. But at the moment, that's blanked out because it's my daughter's swimming time. And my wife needs that support to take one swimming in the pool with me. The other one has a lesson, so we watch her. Yeah. And actually, I've kind of blanked out the diary from 4:30 on a Thursday because that's my first job. Is being a dad. So it's like dad time. And weekends, when we get asked if we do sessions, we don't. For all the staff, we don't want to do Saturday mornings. So, we see people grinding on Saturdays, and fair play, that's a good opportunity to get clients in because they're not at work. But for us, that's pure family time. We don't work Saturdays or Sundays.
Again, really important to have those times dedicated to both, because you can get so caught up and engrossed in your business and where it's going, that if you just have so many weeks and days and months that you're not dedicated to the family, it's amazing how you become a little bit disconnected as well with the family unit. And you might have had that before, where it's just really intense at work, and then for whatever reason months have rolled by and you're like, I've not really spent a massive amount of time with them, and I'm not, you feel it in yourself, you don't feel right. And there's a moment obviously when Harla was a lot younger, and she just wasn't as interested in me, and I noticed it over a week. I was like, this is really don't feel nice. Like she's not she's not rinsing like she used to. She's not got that same spark. And I was like, right, something's changed. I'm not seeing her as much. I'm not around, and I was seeing her, but it wasn't quality time. It was just me passing through the living room, through the kind of kitchen.
Yeah, I'm with you. How did you find going from 1 to 2 kids?
I thought it'd be easier, and in a way it is, because you've been there, done it. So that first child you get home, I remember sitting down on the living room floor with Olive in her basket, and the first night we'd driven home from Jessop's, and we looked at each other and went,
that moment,
holy shit!
Yeah.
Like, what do we got to keep this child alive? Like, what do we do? Florrie, obviously, just as much love, just as much care and attention, but so much more relaxed. So definitely my wife, with regards to layers, temperature in the room, we knew what we were doing, so it's just so much more relaxed in terms of that regard. But 3 times as hard in terms of getting about the house, because not only have you got to get a child out of the house, you've then got to get a baby ready and out of the house, and then you've got to get both of them out of the house together, as well as yourself. So it's just like...
So your little girl was 4 when you had...
3.5, 4, yeah. So we had a good age gap, we think, because Olive was just, she was obviously walking, talking. She was starting school, so she was really helpful. But
she can kind of help out. He said as well.
she can now, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I always tell new parents that I find out a lot about a lot of my clients' pregnancies before they tell their mums, because when they're doing exercise, they need to tell the PT about what they can do. So obviously, we need to be quite careful in their abdominal exercises. So I'm trying to deliver a corporate session with pregnant women that no one knows that they're pregnant, and trying to subtly get them to change their activity or their press up without putting weight on their stomach.
Do they message you before? They pull you aside?
Message me, So I'm there trying to everybody do this, do that. And,
oh really?
Walking past everybody, all right? Are you okay? Someone was doing some star jumps the other day. She's 8 weeks pregnant.
Right. And
she was doing some star jumps, and I had a variation, so I had to kind of subtly walk over and go, don't do star jumps. I don't want you bounding in the first trimester, really. I'd rather you do something different.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. So we're trying to do that subtly. I always say to people that are pregnant, congratulations, it's the most amazing thing you'll ever do, we know as dads, but buckle up, put your seatbelt on and put your hard hat on and your goggles, because it's fucking hard work. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do.
More so for the women, let's be honest, than the men. We just kind of we're a passenger really, aren't we, in the whole thing. You're just supporting them and hoping they're okay.
Are these subliminal driving puns we're doing right now? Because I'm very impressed. We've managed to get Pete's mentioned seatbelt.
I've been doing this 8 years, mate.
Yeah.
It's a fitness truck. It's all about the driving element of this.
I'm a big fan of this.
One thing I want to ask is, what do you find the hardest about parenting? What is it you find the most challenging?
Probably patience. Putting a lot of expectation on my daughters to behave like I think that they should behave, and actually remembering that they're children and they should be expressive, and at times they should be cheeky and sometimes slightly naughty. But me and my wife are reading a book at the moment where it's teaching us about how we should parent. As I said before, we're Christians, but we're learning about Christianity. We're on a journey together, and it's actually what is our role as a parent to guide them into a world where we are all made within the same image. And it's all about, you should be advising and helping and disciplining your kids in a way that shows them what is right against what is wrong, but still allowing them that freedom to be expressive. And I think that I'm quite hard on my girls sometimes, a little bit too hard. My wife can be too, because she's a teacher, so she has a really good discipline skills, because she's got 30 of them at school.
Of course, yeah. What age does she teach?
She teaches foundation.
Okay.
4 years old, so she's a perfect, my perfect ally when it comes to parenting at the moment. But I think just try not to be too harsh on them, because they're learning the way of the world.
Remembering the kids, basically.
Yeah, we're there to shape them, and not shape them to be who they are, not who I was.
This is really reassuring as well, because you two have both got girls. I've got a boy who acts feral sometimes. I think boys under the age of 5 are absolutely mental. It is crazy. So to hear you two talk about girls, and they sit and play really nice, but they can still have the tendencies that my little boy's got. It's quite reassuring.
I'll give you an example. Last week, so I've got 2 girls. My sister's got 2 boys. So my parents have got 4 grandchildren who are numerically 2, 3, 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice. And a voice note came in from my sister who's got 2 boys the other day, and she said, "You'll never guess what, I've just walked into the front room, and her sons, who will remain nameless for the podcast, were trying to stick Nerf gun pellets up each other's bottoms."
Oh, wow. I'm not sure as a dad how I'd feel about that.
Whereas, my girls are sat kind of dancing to music and making up their own performance, and yet her boys are trying to stick Nerf pellets up each other's arses. So there's the difference between boys and girls right there.
There you go. There you go. Clear-cut example, that is. Yeah.
I think that's as good as it gets. But again, I just think that's obviously we're also the eldest of 3 boys, so we know what it was like to be young lads. And my little girl's completely different. She's not. She's a bit chaotic. She runs around, but she's not doing anything disruptive at the moment. Which I guess boys are more like that. They want to be centre of attention. They want to be boisterous. They want to kind of prove to the dad that they're the kind of man around the house a little bit, even at the young age that Teddy's at.
He challenges me all the time. Yeah. He'll be like, "Why have I got to do that?"
Just testing you.
Yeah. He asks why a lot, which is brilliant. I like that mindset he's got, because he's not just some cyborg who'll just do what I say. He's got a bit of critical thinking to him,
about him,
which is good to see. And even that aggression as well, I can see that aggression coming through in him, and I'm like, that's quite reassuring. I just need to teach him how to channel it rather than let him like to
Be a pushover.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
for sure.
Which I suppose we're just trying to be leaders, aren't we? In a way, like with his kids. I know we spoke about setting an example quite a bit. I just wanted to sort of pivot onto, because you've got a team who work with you, Pete, and work, I don't want to say under you, because I'm sure it's very collaborative. What really determines that? I know the characteristics you look for when you're hiring people in particular. Is there anything you look for? Is there anything that any traits that you value?
That's a really good question, and I've been through, again, really challenging learning experiences through running the business. So I have had staff in the past who are great guys, and if they see this podcast, I'm very fond of the both of them. They might not be my biggest fans, but in business, you do burn bridges and relationships break down. And during the time that they worked for me, they were both great guys and fantastic PTs, but probably didn't fit the style and the brand that I was looking to create. At the time, I thought they were, but it just didn't work out. And for one reason or another, and I wish them both, all the best in the future. They're both still in the industry and both doing really, really well. And and sometimes you've got to kind of come into an environment to then remove yourself from an environment to find out actually what your niche is, and their niches are slightly different to what I'm trying to achieve. The girls that I've got on at the moment are fantastic. We've spoken about Leanne, and we've just taken on board Sally. They both do Monday afternoons for us at the moment. Leanne's still at university studying to be a physiotherapist. And Sally's transitioning into the world of PT, so hopefully more opportunities will come her way with us in the future. But the way that we work, we go into people's houses, and I need to be confident that somebody's going into somebody's personal space, private space, and is going to act in the right way. Now, all 4 people that have worked for me in the past have done that. So we look for really personable people. People buy people, and I need to make sure that they're the right type of people with the right type of morals that can go in and hold a conversation but be knowledgeable and friendly at the same time. So just looking for genuine people. Because we can coach a good coach. You can't coach a good person.
Yeah, that's really well put. I love that phrase as well. That's really good. And we've said it before, I think even though it's the fitness truck, if someone's got a coach come into their house, see them every week, they love the brand, the fitness truck, I'm sure, but it's the coach they buy into. It's the coach they really want to see coming back. And it's the tricky thing about building a business in this industry, because there's no saying that someone can't just then take your clients in. I remember it was Nick Mitchell from UP Fitness, Ultimate Performance, and he's spoken many times about kind of how difficult it is to grow a personal training business, because there's no a lot of clients don't have an affiliation with the brand. They have an affiliation with the coach. And I think I love how you hire. I love how the fact you thinking about people who are honest, genuine, people's people, get on with everyone. But also with that comes a certain sense of like they can be too good, maybe, too personal, where they're kind of like the clients are bought into them more than they are you. And I guess it's keeping that connection with the client, if anything, as well.
Yeah, I think that's a challenge that we had when I was growing the business. So we've been going 8 years. So, most people say that, most new businesses don't make it into the first 3-4 years.
Absolutely.
We've now been trading 8, and we're growing and growing. And the first 4 years was Pete Swatkins, and everybody, the boys at Rugby Club used to call me the truck, and the truck's here. And they didn't see the vision that I had for this brand as we grow into the franchise operation that we're getting closer to at the moment. And when I was stepping away and trying to grow the business, and more opportunities came our way, certainly in the corporate sector, where we're trying to move away from the home PT market and moving into the corporate sector to become a corporate personal training provider, which we're succeeding in at the moment, was we buy you, we buy Pete. And that was a big challenge for me about 4 years ago. But taking on the guys and now the girls, that I've got clients I've never seen. Because they buy the essence of the truck, and the truck now is a service. The girls don't even have a truck. We've got one fitness truck, but the girls can do it in their car, because when we go to people's houses, it's the brand and the service that we provide that is quality, that's personable, that's progressive, that's informative, and fun, in essence. That the accountability side of things for our clients is that if we don't turn up at their house with their kit, they are not training. Period. And we've now been able to establish that the fitness truck is a brand that people respect and want to buy, because it's that accountability. And it's not Pete. I've managed to kind of remove myself away from that.
One of the things Nick spoke about, Nick Mitchell, he said that it's also about keeping the PTs on side, like really giving them so much kind of service and value in the company.
Yeah.
They feel like they want to work for you. They don't want to go and do something else. There's so many opportunities at the fitness truck that why would they want to move somewhere else? And I bet that's difficult, isn't it? To kind of
it can be.
Be competitive against other companies and other setups. And just coming back to the guys that left, what was it about your brand and your business that they didn't connect with?
I think one of them missed the hustle and bustle of the gym floor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you like to be on the gym floor.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I found it quite lonely in the truck.
I guess it can be. Yeah. I didn't think about
which
that.
for me as a dad is a nice break in the day, a bit of space. People always ask me, have you had a nap this week? Now I've not had any. I might have 20 minutes on a Tuesday morning because I'm up at 5:30, but I've actually limited and cut down my naps now in the truck. I'm actually a really good sleeper, so I've got a little lion headdress that if you see the truck parked around Sheffield, I'm probably asleep.
Okay, yeah. I'll come banging on the side.
I've not done that for a while now. And the other guy was a fantastic elite strength and conditioning coach for athletes.
Okay.
So the people that we train are people that don't want to move.
Yeah.
They are not interested in going to the gym. They will not go to the gym unless we turn up and make them do just 20 minutes. Yeah. They ain't doing anything.
Okay.
Fundamental. That guy was
completely different demographic.
Demographic. He was looking at force production, speed production, maximal velocity in his lifts, and he was very good at it. And he set up his own academy that targets, elite junior athletes, and
awesome.
It's different. So, I wish him all the best. I've tried to send work his way when people have come in for that type of a service from me.
Brilliant.
And I've actually turned around to the provider and gone, that's not something that I would do.
Yeah.
And they quite respected that because I said, look, there's no point me trying to provide you with these force plates and speed production and light gates when I've got Dave and Julie around the corner that just want to do 10 squats and tell me to truck off.
Yeah.
So, they just, I think it was the environment that they struggled with. But Matt Root, who I worked with a number of years ago, when we went down to London for a sales meeting, we went out for a curry afterwards, and he just turned around to me and said he went into a sales meeting once and one of his staff introduced him to the potential client as his boss. And they led the meeting, I think they got the contract, and he walked out of the meeting and he said, don't ever introduce me like that ever again. He said, I am not your boss, we are colleagues and we work together.
Okay.
And that stuck with me. And the girls that now work with me, yes, I'm the boss. I pay them.
Yeah.
I manage the diaries, the schedules, the payments, the invoices. I'll even provide the corporate sessions for us every week. But then my colleagues, we work together because without them, I can't deliver my 13, 14 sessions on a Monday. Yeah. So we're very much a team.
I really like that. Yeah,
I resonate with that so well.
For sure.
Yeah.
That you don't want to create this inferior complex where you're the boss and you're better than anyone else. It's
100%.
You get it. You're a business owner. You've got staff. You understand that if for everyone to be at their best, there can't be this hierarchy. There has to be an even playing field. Everyone's got their own roles. Yours just happens to be steering the ship, like I said, doing the invoices, all that kind of stuff.
I give them total freedom to deliver the sessions that they want to deliver. I'm I've got my clients that I'm delivering on a Monday. They're your guys. Whatever you did with them last week, you program them. If you want some advice or some guidance on if you're struggling for, a 30, 40-minute EMOM because they're struggling for time, we try to be quite flexible in our sessions. A lot of our clients were like, kids they've not gone down for 20 minutes. We're now 20 minutes into the session. We've only got 40 minutes left. How can we think on our feet? So we'll throw ideas out there. But to Sally, who's now 3 weeks in, I gave her the first week's worth of sessions, and the next week said, you do it. You do what you want to do with them, because you'll be stimulating the clients differently than I would.
Yeah.
So she might look at a different overhead snatch or an overhead dumbbell squat.
Awesome.
That might test them in a way that I've become comfortable with them. And I think it's good to stimulate the clients in a different way, because we do get comfortable with the people that we train with.
Yeah. I think as a coach, we always as well have our own preferred styles of training and exercise and things that we like to do. So
I will say, as a manager as well, I'm the ex-general manager of a gym. If you want trust, you have got to give some away. And I think you embody that really, really well. One thing that I found working with a team is you didn't want copy and paste. Like for me, I didn't want copy and paste Brads. I didn't want to manage a team of me. I wanted diversity. I want to trust them to deliver projects. And probably similar to what you said, don't introduce me as your boss. We work together. I just think that's amazing. So if there is any leaders who are listening who maybe don't have that approach and they're still very 1950s, you do as I say.
Yeah.
There's so much, look at what Pete's achieved so far. There's so much you can do from collaborating and working together and just empowering them as well.
Yeah.
Is that something you're going to continue to do? Have you got any sort of further projects to, like you said, franchise, expand?
Yeah, so the goal from day one has always been to franchise. So, we've got a converted pickup parked just around the corner, mountain rescue vehicle that we found online, but we actually designed it through Sheffield Hallam University to develop the gym that comes to you. So as you roll the shutters up, there is a gym inside, dumbbell rack, torque prowler, slam balls, TRXs, battle ropes, mats, boxing mitts, resistance bands. It turns up on site and it is a gym that comes to you. You don't get in it.
Yeah.
Some people have thought that we were a big truck in the car park down at one of our big clients down at Where's your truck? I was like, there. They went, is that it? I went, give me a metre by metre mat and you'll regret saying that, and I can get you feeling it. So from day one I'd had this vision of having a fitness truck in every city. So we are developing the model at the moment to streamline and lean it out a little bit, because we've gone down the employee route the last couple of years. And again, we've hired some great guys and we've learned from the challenges that we've had with those guys. And it's actually shifted our focus to a single trainer operation at the moment, which is me, with a supplementary kind of employee model with Leanne and Sally. And then once we prove that profitability, which we've just done in our year-end accounts, which has been a fantastic year for the company, we can then go to investment to say this is what we're doing. Now in the corporate sector we're getting really good kind of feedback and friction with companies looking to get staff away from their desks, get people active at work, so that in the afternoons we can provide them with a workforce that are more focused, more energised, and more enthusiastic about going back into the office. So it's our vision to create this product, which is in essence a truck full of kit, with a digital accountancy practice, who I'll give them a shout out, Gravitate Accounting down at Kelham Island, fantastic guys, who do all of your accounts online. They're fantastic. They've been a great asset to us, and they're actually a client of ours as well. An online booking platform through Team Up, and then all of the branding. And then we get a PT that doesn't want the hustle and bustle of the shop floor, wants to become an entrepreneur and run their own business, but doesn't know how. We can provide them with this white label, almost, well, not white label, but a ready-made product that says go. And we'll support them with
and that'll all be under the fitness truck.
All under the fitness truck brand.
I think that's a great idea. I think for a new PT who's, number one, confident enough to go and do this by himself, because that's a big part of it, isn't it? Number two, personable enough, like you said, you've got to have that kind of nous about them to be, good in conversation and win clients over and be good at sales, I guess, as well. I actually think, funny enough, if you'd offered me this when I first started coaching, I might have taken it.
It's really tempting.
Yeah, for sure. If you'd come to me as a coach, I've never worked in the gym. I've always worked by myself from home. So if you'd come to me and said, this is opportunity to travel around, you get all the kit, you get your own truck, these are the costs, the fees, you assess it and you weigh it up, I think it's very tempting. How would you go, let's say you want a truck in every city. What's your plan, I guess, for marketing for that kind of coach? How are you going to get that coach?
So in essence, we need to build the brand in a location first. So we've established in South Yorkshire now. Most people have either seen the truck or have heard the truck. In most corporate environments I go into, they'll go, "Oh, you're the truck." That's my name's Pete. But I'm confident enough now as an entrepreneur and a business owner that I thrive in high pressure C-suite executive environments. So when I walk into an office and I've got my fluorescent trainers on my shorts on my t-shirt, people look at me and go, "What the truck is he doing here? Like, why is he walking in here? Why is he in his PE kit? Why is there a guy with loads of dumbbells? Like, what's going on?" And I walked into one environment for the first time and they went, "Don't judge us. Don't judge us." And I went, "Judge what?" And they went, "We're eating cake." And I went, "I am going to judge you. It's disgusting. You're not giving me a piece." But my challenge is that some of the relationships that we're establishing, so we've just taken on board Henry Boot, who are a big property developer in Sheffield, but they've got offices in Leeds, Glasgow, Manchester.
Brilliant.
So the way that we'll scale is we then start to establish longer term corporate clients who have the opportunity to help us grow internally within their business. Then once we get those opportunities, if an opportunity like that were to come in Manchester, we could go and set up in Manchester. We've got the first corporate client. From the first corporate client, you then go to 3 or 4 others. You then grow a network of 6. We're proving that you only need to do 9 hours work to be profitable.
Wow, from the corporate side of things.
You need to deliver 9 hours of PT a week to break even.
Brilliant.
So you do a 9-hour week. So you do a 36-hour month. And you've broken even. A month, not a week, a month. There's the model. You go and attract a PT that's just newly qualified through people like Envisage or through another mate of mine in Vector Training over in Manchester. You get a PT that's coming into the market that might have a bit of capital from an inheritance, property, remortgage. Some maybe professional athletes or military personnel that are coming out with a golden handshake. They can come out and then we can then set them up in a city. We'll provide those corporate relationships, and it's our responsibility to do the business development side of things, to nurture them and help them grow their business in each city.
Brilliant. I think from a scaling point of view, I really like the concept. How are you going to manage hiring? Are you going to be the one who goes to other cities and has a look into, coaches? Are you going to put applications out there? Are you going to go to like franchising events? I know they do franchising events, things like that.
A mixture of both. I've been to half a dozen franchise exhibitions to see how they're run, see what type of people they're attracting. This is an owner franchise, not an investment franchise. So when you go down to like McDonald's or to KFC or those types of franchises, they're investment franchises by businessmen that buy it and then staff it. The fitness shop will be an owner-based franchise, so you will own the franchise yourself and you will deliver it yourself. So we all need to go and attract the best talent. So I will still be very hands-on, because at the end of the day, it's our brand, my brand, it's my DNA in it. In essence, but we would like a really lean head office cab, central admin based cab linked to the truck, where we have 4 or 5 franchise managers that are responsible for developing the franchise ease and the quality of delivery, and then myself and maybe another 1 or 2 that actually go around and actively recruit, and we'll do that through a plethora of ways: in person, online, fitness events. One day I'd love the fitness truck to be on a stall at Body Power or the National Franchise Expo, and people come over to it, like the coffee vans. I think if someone sees this, they'll go, "What is that?" I think that's a great idea. I actually think Body Power, obviously I'm not sure on the fees and things, but I think it's a great way of hitting guys or girls who are thinking about maybe entering into the industry. They've been, training for a while. Body Power's a great idea, actually. Getting the name out there early and thinking. You see a big truck, off-road tyres.
Oh, yeah.
Clean,
bring the truck in. I remember actually I listened to a fantastic podcast by the owner of Grenade. Grenade, the brand.
I'll wear it.
Phenomenal. He was on it's the Interesting Lives podcast. I can't remember the name of the guy who started it, but phenomenal business, phenomenal journey. And one of the reasons they did so well is because they took the tank everywhere. Like they hired this tank. This guy had a contact of a guy who had ex-army tanks, and he rented them out. Nice. And at every expo they went to, people were like, "That's a fucking tank." Like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, so they just drawn to it.
James Haskell's been in it with like smoke grenades, haven't they?
That's right. Yeah. They did a big campaign with him. And. So I think to get the truck kind of fired up and take it to these events, and it looks cool, and show them around the kit, and I think this could be yours,
And for me, like, you never know who's going to hear this as well. Like, you could have just spoken directly to a PT who is in the position, who fits all the standards and the values and the ethics that you want from someone who's very much in, like, golden handshake from the military, that sort of stuff. But when it comes to, like, I know we've all probably done work with avatars, like, have you got an ideal client? So if you are appealing to someone now as a new PT maybe, who is it who you work with in particular? Can you draw them out? Have you got an idea and say
from a client perspective?
Yeah, from a client perspective, like, that is the person who we best help. Yeah,
so a lot of our clients, we're very fortunate we have a lot of wealthy clients, because if you're having a PT come into your house 2 or 3 times a week, is not cheap. We're not £30 an hour. But ultimately, we did do some character personas as we were growing the business during lockdown. My cousin, who was a marketing specialist, was furloughed. She came and did a bit of work for me. We're looking at our ideal client personas, and there's a mix really, because in some corporate sessions we can get regular CrossFit goers that use it as a supplementary session to their week. They'll go, "Look, I'm lifting heavy in the gym, but actually in the boardroom on a Monday I get to do a bit of kind of body weight, light dumbbell work that is a free session paid for by work, so let's do it." For others, it's the only thing that they do. And if we can support those people doing the only type of exercise and the only session that they're ever going to do in the week through a fitness truck session paid for by work, then again, that's perfect. So from a one-to-one coaching perspective to our personal clients, it's not the CrossFitter type gym goer, because they've got the self-discipline to go. That's why we've not gone into the online sector, because I feel personally that you need to find a particular demographic of client that has the intrinsic motivation to be able to go to the gym or work out themselves already with the sessions that you're providing. All of our clients haven't had any of that. They have a barrier to entry, and whether that's physiological or psychological, they don't know what to do. They don't want to do it. They don't know how to do it. So as are people who are kind of time poor, that just don't have the time and make excuses not going to the gym, but with a relatively decent disposable income that need help. So a lot of our clients are, executive business owners and men and women who just they've neglected their health and fitness, and they know that they need to do a little bit more, and then we'll go in and support them on a once, twice, 3 weekly basis.
You're absolutely right. I think the online stuff is predicated on the fact that people, number one, know how to use the equipment, have a gym membership, have some level of motivation and discipline to follow the program through. I've got a lot of clients who I still see one-to-one who just don't fit that criteria, and we take them on one-to-one for that reason. Yeah. Mark probably won't mind me mentioning this, but we've had a conversation before about potentially dropping his sessions down and him doing some more stuff at the gym, and I absolutely loved his honesty. To be fair, he just turned around and said, Ryan, if I stopped coming here, I wouldn't go, basically. And I think a lot of clients, like you said, have that same feeling. They have that same, they want someone to push them. They know that actually I think this is a tricky thing as well. Once you get used to someone pushing you, programming you, driving you forwards, it's hard then to kind of step away from that. And you'll always find that you get the best out of yourself when there's someone there. Yeah. So it's tricky. I get that from a client's perspective. Sure.
Yeah, we've got a number of clients. One will remain nameless, but I know she'll watch this and she'll know exactly who she is. That she said she'll never move to another PT ever again because I know too much about her life, and I know a lot about her life.
Okay.
And then another couple who I've trained for 7 years, early 60s, business owner, live in Totley. They don't want anything longer than 25 minutes worth of exercise on a Tuesday and Thursday. Anything that goes over half an hour, I literally get told to truck off. So I literally get out of the house.
What do you do with that then? Do you make it an intense half an hour, or do you a casual half an hour?
So Tuesday, Dave just come back from business in Japan. Walked in with some dumbbells and he went, put them down, we're doing a stretch. So we put whale music on and we stretch.
Really?
Honestly, for half an hour. Other times it'll just be kind of like,
cool.
For them it's more of like a 30-minute dumbbell EMOM. So just looking at the 7 fundamental movement patterns for me, so squat, hinge, push, pull, vertical push, vertical pull, horizontal push, core, trunk type thing. Yeah. And as long as I hit 5 of those 7 fundamental movement patterns in a session, for them they don't need programming. A lot of our clients don't need particular programs because they don't care. They just want to move. As long as they're moving. Whilst Dave was away, Michelle was training, and she had a friend join in for the session, and I got Michelle to warm up, and she's just like starts kung fu kicking and slut dropping and doing all sorts of stuff. And her friend's looking at her going like, who's an avid gym going, like, what's she doing? And I went, just leave her. Just let her go. This is what she does. Yeah. And then in the session, she's like moving around, doing push presses, walking around. Cool. So why is she not still? I went, as long as she's moving, I don't care.
Yeah.
As long as she's moving safely.
Yep. I love that. What I love is, Pete, you get it. You understand that demographic really, really well. And I think a lot of people try and go too complex. They try and put things on people and your own ideas around exercise. And you're great at coming from quite a high level sport background, but also really getting what the average gym goer needs, and actually even below the average gym goer. A lot of your guys, I said, they don't go to the gym, they don't understand exercise, but you get what they need and what they require from you and how you slot into their week. That's really important as a coach, actually. It's knowing what your hour with them or half an hour with them is and represents in their week. Is it them wanting the biggest, baddest session ever, or is it them just wanting a stretch? What some weeks, it's knowing how you slot in. That's so important, I think, with that demographic.
We have a term in the business is just, how do you add value in that half an hour, in that hour? How do you add value to their day? Yeah. And I think we've all suffered from imposter syndrome at some point. I still do. There are PTs that are way better than I am. People with anatomy and physiology that far trumps what I know. Even though I've done a degree in it, that was 15 years ago. But when I'm teaching a client how to move and talking about what muscles to activate, they don't know what I'm talking about. They don't even know what the shoulder blade is, some of them. So, just getting them moving with basic movement patterns and I just tell people we're not doing anything new, we're just doing what everybody else is doing. And people will look at it and go, I saw a video the other day and they were doing this type of exercise, and they went, I do that with Pete. And I'm like, duh, it's not new.
Yeah. It's just, I guarantee one of the reasons you've done so well is because of that. You're a coach, not just a book reader. You're someone who gets and understands people. Some of the best coaches I know are the guys who, they know the books, they know the kind of basics and the kind of more advanced stuff, but they're really good with people, and they get people, and they know how to change their mindset. They know how to implement movements and get people really passionate about exercise and training, and actually looking forward to sessions. You can have read all the best books in the world. You can be the most intelligent person when it comes to, like I said, physiology, anatomy. But actually, if you can't implement that and you can't get people to change, it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I remember something that a second auntie maybe once said to me as a young boy. They said, in a non-arrogant way, they just said, that boy is socially gifted. Like, put me in a room, and as I said earlier, like I just put me in front of 100 kids running King's camps.
Yeah.
Love it. Put me in a corporate room with an MD and a junior account executive.
Sure.
Status means nothing to me, and if I can create that environment, I'm a people's person. I love people. I go home and I crash, but
they're actually, I think, in the industry as well, the guys that tend to do really well, much better. If you look at all the big fitness names, like, let's just pick one out of the hat, Joe Wicks, for example. He's just a really nice, likeable guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Do you reckon he knows the anatomy and physiology of the body better than a lot of the kind of top S&C coaches?
absolutely not.
Of course not, but he's really personal, came across that way online, and then built an audience around that. Exactly the same thing with you, I think. You're that personal guy. When you go in there, like I said, with your bright trainers into an office, and this guy's energetic, he's positive. Is this someone we want coaching our workforce? Fuck yes, absolutely. Get him in.
This is something that I wanted to really sort of spread the message about the corporate wellness and well-being. Like, a lot of companies will sell, when they offer people contracts, they might say, oh, you get free health insurance, which is great. But I find what Pete's doing in particular is like the precursor to that. It's like, well, actually, your health insurance is there just in case. Like, we are here as the preventer, and I love that message.
Yeah, I've had conversations with people in their workforce whereby, a lot of the gentlemen are like late 50s, early 60s, and they're kind of pre-diabetic, like almost screaming heart attack with their.
I guarantee you can see it in their face.
Yeah.
When you walk into that room and you look at them, they look
unhealthy. Red faces, red noses, big beer belly. Quite a few clients that we see in the corporate world have said that to me. I am pre-heart attack, and that was part of our corporate conversation. So I said to him, I said, look, in the sector that we're in, we want to make your environment where you work the most attractive place to work for people. How can you make your environment different to somebody else? And we've partnered up with Sharps of Sheffield fruit boxes, so they do corporate fruit boxes. We now have 5 mutual clients where we go and support each other with fresh fruit and fitness. And I was looking at some of them, and I said, let's start being proactive to these signs and triggers than being reactive to you as a workforce. We do not want one of your staff to have a heart attack at work. It's too late. So how can we make your environment work weekly with us to be proactive to prevent any of these ever occurring in the workplace? So let's not look at someone who turn back and go, I've been to the doctor, I've had to go on whatever to reduce the pre-onset of diabetes. Let's eliminate that completely by doing activity in the workplace to make your workforce fit, active and healthy. Because I don't want anybody having a heart attack at work. So I'm trying to get all of my corporate clients to be proactive in keeping their staff fit and healthy rather than being reactive to an issue that's occurred.
The good thing about today's world and society, I think companies and owners and probably the younger CEOs are kind of getting more switched on to the fact that if their workforce is fit and healthy and enjoys training, it's amazing how much more productive they are. Because one thing you said quite early on was you were into sport at a young age and you played rugby, and I guarantee that gave you structure, it gave you discipline, it taught you a lot of things about how to run your business right now. And actually, if you can implement some of those same skills with your workforce, let's say you've got a company, it's amazing how much they're just more organised. They get it. Their lives around them is based around exercise and movement. They're factoring in training, they're factoring in steps, they're cooking their own meals now at home. And then they're coming to work, and that's overlapping into what they do in the workforce. So I think, but I'm sure you get it still where, like I said, you go into some companies and it's just archaic, and you can tell straight away these guys are going to be a real hard sell because they're not as invested in the health and fitness program as I am.
Yeah, you can see straight away when I look at their C-suite owners, MD, CEOs, whether they're going to buy or not. I can pretty much walk through the door and go, yep or no. It's to depend on who gets you through the door. If the decision maker gets you through the door is the CEO or the CFO or the COO, then you've got an opportunity. But when somebody else is introducing you to, we really struggle with law firms. They're so archaic in their processes.
Law firms.
It's all about time, money, project, too busy, working stupid hours. We haven't got time for that.
Yeah.
It's the forward thinking that gravitates of the world, Samoda, Central Technology, Apex in Sheffield, just name but a few, where the boss has got us in and gone, I want you in my workforce, and whether 1 comes out or 12 come out, you're looking after the staff. Healthier staff, better environment to work, better environment to work, more productive. More productive means more money.
Yeah. Have you got any stats on like productivity in terms of how the fitness truck have helped potential companies be a little bit more proactive, especially in that afternoon portion as well that you mentioned, where typically people...
Yeah, we did a first block feedback with one of the IT companies that we're training, and 100% of the people that responded said that they had noticed a slight or wholesale change in their afternoon productivity, motivation and attention.
Nice.
Awesome.
100%.
Wicked.
Is there an optimal time to train, do you think, during the day for a workforce?
Not really. No, it depends on your working day. Depends what your business is.
Yep.
Depends what your outputs are. Some people are on client meetings, so they're not in. For me personally, I prefer a midday session because you all feel that lull at lunchtime where we need just a little bit of a pick me up.
Yeah.
Early in the mornings, difficult through travel. People, showers, facilities, hygiene. End of the day, people have to shoot off and families.
Yeah.
So we have a mixture of midday and early evening.
Awesome.
Nice. I think one key question I really wanted to shoehorn in today was, I think it was a phrase that probably brought me and Ryan quite close, which was calculated risk. First time I told you about a calculated risk that I took uprooting my business to station, I did it for quite a hard reason for myself. I wanted a challenge. If there's parents listening, or maybe people who want to branch out into maybe freelance, franchising, self-employed, who's considering that calculated risk, just like what we've all taken, have you got any advice for those people who really want to take a calculated risk but
aren't sure?
Aren't sure.
Just do it.
There we go.
Simple.
Full stop.
You'll never regret you'll only regret the decision you didn't make.
Yeah.
And I think that, I was setting up the business, selling diesel and playing rugby and having a child and getting married all at the same time. I was burning the wick at both ends. And I had to take a calculated risk early on in the business. And I had to stop selling diesel. That was my safety blanket. They were paying me an okay hourly rate that paid my mortgage. And at some point I had to just take the risk. So I took that calculated risk. I spoke to my directors, I spoke to my fiancée, and I said I'm going to go full-time in the fitness truck. And within 3 months I doubled my turnover.
Wow. So you were doing the fitness truck on the side, but then as soon as you took the leap to go all in...
Yeah, when I lost my job, I set up the business. A mate of mine said, come work for me, I'll look after you. Basically kept me afloat, in essence, and I'll be ever indebted to Neil at Peak Oil down in Chesterfield for that. And I got to a point where I was growing the business on the side. He knew one day I would leave. I was supposed to be there 6 months. I was there 2.5 years, just doing odd jobs, delivering oil barrels, supporting drivers in farms, dropping diesel off.
Cool.
And then I got to a point where I thought, I'm never going to grow this business unless I take that calculated risk. We calculated it, seen that it was probably going to work out, so we jumped, and here we are in a 6-figure turnover business with opportunities to grow national franchise business.
I couldn't back that message up anymore. Just do it. Just go for it. Like it'll be one of the scariest things you'll ever do. You'll have sleepless nights. It'll be a turbulent 6 months over that first kind of, even a turbulent 12 months as your income goes up and then down and up and down, and moments where you think you've made it and you're like, this is it, it's great, and then moments where you think, fuck, I'm gonna go tit stuff if something doesn't change. It'll be intense, but guess what? You'll learn. Do you know what you'll learn the most? You'll learn what you're made of. You'll learn what your pros are, what your cons are. You'll learn more about yourself as a person than you ever will in anything else that you do in life. When you start your own business and it's just you, it is one of the most rewarding, scary things, but satisfying things when it all works out.
And what an example to set for your girls as well. If ever they feel like they're stuck in a bit of a rut and you say, look, I'm living proof, I've done this, I took a calculated risk and I'm happy.
My daughter's now the girl in the class that gets the iPads and timers up on the floor and gets everyone doing press sets.
Oh, fantastic.
I love that.
That's amazing.
We've got a fitness truck girl on the way, I think, as another franchise employee right there.
Absolutely amazing. I always like to ask this question when we've got guests, but have you got any questions for myself and Ryan? Like anything that you want to get out there and speak about to the world, or anything you'd like to ask us as fellow trainers?
I think we're all heavily involved in the fitness industry, in a gym, in your own studio and online, and kind of in people's houses and corporate. So we're all advocates of fitness, but all from different areas. What's your perception, or what do you think that you could improve in your own offering based on what you've learned from the other two in the room today?
Delivery, for me. Value driven. Just keep being value driven. Potentially trusting other people to do your vision as well. 'Cause, yeah, I think speaking to yourself, speaking to Ryan in the past, actually trusting someone else to deliver something that you hold really dear, that actually it's your livelihood on the line. It's not you working for a company and you can just outsource things. It's like, no, this is mine. I have to make these calculated choices. I have to trust someone else to go and do something for me or guide them in a right way. Yeah.
For me, it's demographic. I've spoken about it before, but I think it's knowing, like, we all have a slightly different demographic when it comes to the people we coach.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing you can do is understand that demographic like the back of your hand and know what they want, know, like I said, how you slot into their week, know what you're providing away from sessions to them. For me, that's so important. And I guess as a second to that, it's just, I think I've been really inspired today by like the entrepreneurial spirit of both of you. One of the reasons I asked Brad to kind of jump on the podcast and when we started this is because he likes risk. He likes stepping outside the comfort zone. I'm very much drawn to that in people. I like that about people who are willing to take that risk. It's like it's a precursor for me, like, you know, building a bond and a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
And I think for yourself, Pete, I've definitely seen that. There's no doubt about it. You've taken loads of risks in the past, still taking them today, I'm sure. But alongside that, you're very forward thinking and you've got that entrepreneurial spirit. So again, you know, just another. It's depends how hippy dippy you want to get. But I think the universe brings people to you that you seek out and attract. And I think we've been kind of on the cusp of this conversation for a long time because of that reason. Like, you're entrepreneurial, you know, you're a go-getter, and I want to draw those people close to me for sure. Absolutely.
Speaking of seeking out, where could people find out a little bit more about yourself? I know you mentioned LinkedIn earlier. Is that the best place for people to find you?
Yeah, so my profile, Pete Swatkins on LinkedIn, is quite active. And then we have the Fitness Truck on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram. And then on our website, www.thefitnesstruck.co.uk.
Amazing. And if anyone wants to, let's say you've got some budding parents or PTs or people who potentially would like to get in touch with you about working for you, how would they do that?
Just drop us a DM on any of the platforms.
Okay.
As we said earlier, the phone is the bane of my life, so I will not miss a message anywhere that it comes in.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
Amazing.
Guys, thank you for joining us on the Fit Dads podcast. Pete, awesome to have you on, mate, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
See you soon.
thank you very much.